Woo! I'm live currently. That's weird. I'm sorry, everybody. Just wanted to make a really quick news announcement for anybody that's been following the Oscars controversy. Sorry. Um, the For anybody that's been following, the announced on Monday that they were not going to be airing the awards for best cinematography, best editing, hair and makeup, and the best short film award, best live action short film awards. And there was a lot of backlash, and I even created a video on Monday that a lot of people were responding to, a lot of people were unhappy about. And because of all the backlash from not only the people within the industry, but viewers themselves, the Academy just announced today that they were going to be airing all four awards live on the telecast for the Oscars. So that is a big win for the people. That's a big win for everybody who works in the industry, in those crafts. This shows you the power, the power of social media and what you can do if you really believe in something. If you really want to fight for something, you just got to stand up and really show that you're passionate about what you're fighting for. And it's this is a this is a big win for filmmakers, for people that that work in this craft. It was a really unfortunate, short-sighted decision um, to not air everything live. I think that the Oscars are under, or the Academy, I should say, not the Oscars. They're under a lot of pressure from uh, ABC and Disney about the ratings that they've been getting. And they know that they need to somehow increase viewers. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that had they had Kevin Hart be the host, I think that maybe then they could have seen a boost in viewership. But I think without a host, I don't think that they're going to see an increase. Lost my train of thought. Really, I just wanted to update you guys because I know that there was a lot of people that were interested in this whole ordeal, and yeah, so that happened. I have 0 viewers, so that's cool. No questions coming in or anything. We'll maybe just stay on here for just a minute to see if anybody pops on here. Hey, there's a viewer. No one wants to watch me. But yeah, it's really awesome that the Academy listened to the people. I was really worried that we were gonna get something where they would course correct course correct the issue and just take like a different 4 off. And that wouldn't have solved anything, because the whole thing is that by taking categories off the telecast, you're basically saying they aren't as important as the ones that are being broadcast, and thus you're devaluing that craft. So I'm really glad that people stood up and fought for what they believed was right, and that the Academy actually listened. That's really important, that they saw what they were doing was wrong, and they changed. So I think that the Academy has gotten a lot of crap over the past week from a lot of people, and it's easy to sit here and point the finger and make fun of them for folding, but we should not be making fun of them Instead, we should be thanking them for actually listening. And I think that is really awesome of the Academy and ABC for doing. If anybody has any thoughts, I don't know exactly how to bring up the chat. Because I'm on my phone. ET phone home. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to take up any more time. Have a good weekend, everybody. I'm going to a film festival this weekend for Slash. It's at the Star Theater in Mercersburg, Pennsylvania. It'll be Slash's screening there as part of the film festival. Starts at 7:30. And then I'm part of the panel that's going to be going on after, where you can ask me questions about movies, filmmaking in general, what color underwear I'm wearing, what I eat for breakfast, anything that you're really interested in. So have a good weekend, everybody, and I'll see you next week. I still think the entire F6 needs a major overhaul. I'm not sure what they can do, but award shows in general seem to be failing. I agree, Caleb. I don't know the answer to how they can really overhaul the telecast. Obviously, like me personally, I like it whenever they have like a comedian or somebody on there that presents like these like comedy sketches or comedy skits. I personally enjoy that. I think it's a nice, refreshing breath of air into the ceremony. But on the other hand, like I can see that why people would also not like that. Some people like don't like for like Seth MacFarlane, for instance, like his humor obviously isn't for everybody, and I think that like Kevin Hart could have brought like some rejuvenation to the broadcast had he been the host. But it's an unfortunate chain of events that happened with him, and I would have loved to see Kevin Hart as the host, and I think that would have brought in an increase in viewership. But it sucks because like me personally, I'm not too interested in hearing the original, like the best original song nominations every year. However, I do see why they are important, and I do see the value in having them year after year. The one thing that I would really focus on cutting and revamping is like year after year we just get these like same old like Hollywood magic or movie magic montages that just, it's like we get like four of these throughout the broadcast, like 5 minutes a piece, and it's like 20 minutes that you can shave off the broadcast by getting rid of that. And I know it sucks for the producers having to present 24 different awards and then 24 different people, sometimes even more when there's like writers that are sharing the award or like production designers, like when you have multiple people sharing an award. But 24 different groups of people getting up there and giving a speech and thanking, endless names and having a long run-on thing. It's tough. It really is like I don't envy their job really in trying to cut down on how long the show runs while making it entertaining. It's a really hard thing that I don't know. I think that they really need to sit down over. I mean, this whole year has just been a cluster fuck ever since the Kevin Hart controversy, and then they announced that there wasn't going to be a host maybe like 2 weeks ago, and the Oscars are next Sunday, which is crazy. I'm really interested in seeing how it works too. I think it's also probably going to be a train wreck. However, maybe it'll speed things up. Maybe the show will go a lot quicker with only presenters, and then like maybe it's like more rapid fire, fast paced. But Yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes too. I don't know how it's going to work out. Really, really, really would have been a big fan to see Kevin Hart do it though, because I think that could have helped put the Oscars back into a more relevant spotlight, at least in terms of like the popular opinion. And also, there is like this. I'm kind of at a point where I've watched the Oscars for I don't even know how many years straight, but I'm kind of at this point where I'm kind of fed up with them as well because of the there's this feeling that yes, you need somebody like Kevin Hart, like the host, to bring in viewers, which I get. But also there's this need, or at least like desire for the Academy, that they feel that they need to bring in viewers by propping up these popular films like Black Panther and Bohemian Rhapsody, which I don't think they are good films. Black Panther is a solid film. It's just not the best film of the year by any means. Bohemian Rhapsody is not a good movie. I will sit here. I will fight that opinion for. Sorry, my phone is shaking. I'm just using a tissue box to hold up the phone. Let me try something else. I will go down swinging on that opinion. I do not think Bohemian Rhapsody is a good movie. Rami Malek is really good in it. Movie itself is just a unfocused cluster. I keep saying clusterfuck. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm curious. Did you see Bohemian Rhapsody? I don't know how long engagement takes on these. But especially the Oscars because it feels like lose for anyone working on them. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lose for the producers this year. I don't know if the same producers work on the show like year after year, but because of everything that's happened with the producers this year, I just can't see ABC bringing them back on. It's really not a good movie. It's really unfocused. I get the appeal of the movie. People really like Queen, and you get like all these set pieces that show you the making of like Bohemian Rhapsody and certain albums and stuff, and then you get the whole like Live Aid concert reenacted, which I get. People enjoy that stuff, but for me personally, even though I like Queen's music, I don't need to see that stuff in movie form. I can YouTube it or Spotify it and listen to it. I don't need to see people reenact that stuff. And we get Rami Malek and the rest of the Queen band just lip syncing for probably 45 minutes of the movie. Meanwhile, the story takes a back seat and is all over the place to begin with because it spans 15, 20 years of Queen's uh, the life, for lack of a better word, lifespan. It's messy, and you can really sense that the movie had two different directors. Um, I don't know exactly where along the process that Bryan Singer was fired. Oh, my phone fell. I need to really find a better solution for this. Let me grab more bottles. My face is really close. I don't think this is really going to help, but fingers crossed. Ooh. I was also thinking about doing maybe a live stream next Sunday, Oscars Day, to like give everybody my predict. I did it last year just as a test live stream to see what people, thought, see what their thoughts were on who was going to win, and then give my like final predictions. I don't know if anybody would be interested in something like that. Caleb, are you still in here? Somebody's still in here. Sweet. What was your favorite movie that was released in 2018? I know, right? Their Hereditary was great. I was actually really blown away by that movie. There is a twist that happens so early on in that movie that just blew my freaking mind. And then from where like the story goes after that, like I was hooked. I was like glued to that screen. Hereditary reminds me a lot of like The Witch and it Comes at Night, which are both like tonally very similar. I don't know if you've seen either of those movies. But yeah, I really liked Hereditary. Man, that light is blown out. And then on Monday, I'm actually going to be releasing a video with not necessarily my 5 favorite movies of the year, but it's going to be titled my 5 most underrated films of 2018, which are movies that I think deserve way more attention than they are getting or got whenever they released. So I'm curious. I don't want to like spoil it, which 5 movies I picked, but I'm curious to see like what your thoughts were if you saw any of those. What did you think of It Comes at Night? I know a lot of people hated it, but personally, I loved it. Hey, Danny, how's it going? I love like I love the way that they create tension in that movie, and yeah, the ambiguity of the ending was awesome. Like people were mad that you never see a monster or something, but that's not what the movie's about to me. Like it's more of an exploration of like fear and paranoia, which is like like as like a kid you would like be in a room alone at night, and then you would hear a noise, and then your mind would just start creating scenarios of like what that noise was, or then you would start creating noises in your head or whatever. Yeah, exactly. That same here. Yeah, so Danny, I don't know if you saw the news or not, but the Academy reversed its decision about not airing those 4 categories. They are going to be airing all 24 categories now. I was really worried that they were going to listen to the backlash and then just take 4 different categories off air, but they came to their senses and said that they're going to be airing all 24 categories live on the telecast. So by bitching and moaning, the people have won. Didn't see anything about it. Yeah, it's just like I read it and then went live because I was going to record a video. It's too much work and it's a Friday and I'm getting ready to leave for the weekend. So I just decided to do something quick. see how many people I could get on a live stream. But I've never really done this whole live stream thing too much. I did the one for the Oscar predictions last year, which I think I got maybe like 3 viewers on, and then I did one on a location scout for Kill or Be Killed, and that one actually had some pretty good engagement. People were asking like a lot of questions about like what the film was and everything. And then I think I did 2 on the set of Kill or Be Killed, which I don't know if I even got any viewers on. So this is kind of an experiment to me to see if people actually tune in whenever it tells people that I go live. Yeah, you guys got a really good viewership for that live stream that you guys did. There were like over 20 people watching, I remember at one point, which for me, like, for like us small YouTubers, that's huge. Somebody else joined too. Woohoo! Rolling in the numbers, 3 deep. Plus me, that's 4. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's Andrew. Hi! Andrew, I will see your face in a couple hours where I can punch it. It's weird because like I don't know what the latency is, like if there's lag between whenever comments come through versus when I'm responding. So there's like some dead air, and then I will punch it. So I'm headed out toward. I know I'm sorry for myself. Uh, I gotta sleep at his house tonight, and that's always an unfortunate thing. My mouth's super dry. Andrew, the Academy announced the decision that it is actually going to air all 24 categories on the live telecast now. So the Academy listened to the people. All my bitching, my WTF Oscars video that only has like 200 views. I feel like I did a small part in that. Am I out of focus? There, it's focusing. Have you guys had the Oreo chocolate candy bar? No. It's actually really good. I saw it when I was at Walmart in the checkout line. Just decided to yeah, this is actually, so I'll break open a little piece just so you can see it. It looks kind of like almost like a Hershey's bar. And then on the inside, it won't focus on. How do I get it to focus? It won't focus. Maybe if I bring my face closer, can you see it? This is really weird. I know, right? I was going to end this at like 6 minutes, but then Caleb joined, then Danny joined, then Andrew joined, and so now we're actually talking about stuff. I went on like a 5-minute rant with no viewers, and now people actually joined to talk to. So now I feel like I have to keep going for a little bit. I'm gonna feel even more obligated if like somebody else joins. That doesn't mean leave, but you know. I mean, Andrew, working, schmirking, like working's not important. Let's be honest here. Who needs a job? Highly recommend the Oreo candy bar though to anybody that hasn't tried it. I didn't know it was a thing. I don't know how popular they are. Who's your favorite team, Danny? Hockey is one of those things, like for me, like I love watching it when I see it on, and I'll watch like Flyers games or Penguins games every once in a while. But I just like I can't watch it very often And but like when I do, I it's a lot of fun to watch. I don't really know any players' names or anything. I actually went to a hockey game for the first time in my life last April. It was Cincinnati Cyclones. It's like the what do you call that? The minor leagues of hockey or something. Is Danny at work too? Is everybody at work that's listening or watching? Is there not a lot of fighting on hockey? I mean, I feel like the hockey that I've seen, there's always at least some sort of like shoving and stuff, but I don't know if they get into it often. I watched a Penguin. Who was that? Penguins and somebody game a couple weeks ago. Yeah, there were a couple pretty big fights at the minor league game that I was at. That was actually very odd because I went to that game alone and I got really good seats. I was like center ice and maybe 8 rows back from just like being on the ice for I think like $18. That's like how cheap a minor league game is. But I went by myself because Susan was out doing something else. Yeah, I can understand that. Um, but I felt so odd being surrounded by strangers who were going ape shit. All right, see you, Andrew. I'll see you later. Uh, where's my train of thought? I felt so out of place being amongst like a bunch of strangers who were going ape shit over this like game that I had to get up and go to a different section where there wasn't as many people, even though I paid for these really good seats. And I actually enjoyed the game a lot more being alone, in this unoccupied area watching it than like being closer to the ice. It was just like way too many people for me. Have you ever been to a live hockey game, Danny? Yeah, so right now we are finishing up post production on a big short film. It's a action thriller. It's called Killer Be Killed. It's kind of I'd like to describe it as a wow, that's a lot. 30 hockey games. That's awesome. I've only been to a handful of like professional sporting events in my life. I went to a 76ers game. I was at one Penn State college football game and one Penn State college basketball game. And then I was at like I forget, the Hagerstown Suns. I think that's a team, like minor league baseball. I was to like a couple of baseball games growing up, but that's really it. I really kind of want to go to an Eagles game since I'm right outside of Philly, but the tickets for that are just so expensive. Steelers fan or Eagles fan? I have opened up to the Eagles since I live in this area, and I'm kind of surrounded by Eagles fans and can be persuaded a little bit easier since that's like all I hear. But I'm actually neither. I don't really like the Steelers. I'm actually a Seahawks fan. And the short story behind that was I never really watched football until a couple years ago when I got uh, kind of coerced into playing fantasy football with a bunch of friends. And Bill's had McCoy. He's a hell of a player. Yeah, he is. LaShawn's really good. I got coerced into playing fantasy football a couple years ago with some friends that just wanted to take my money, and I ended up getting really into football because of like rooting for players, and just because like I wanted to have a little bit more of rooting interest, I just picked a team based off of colors to root for, and the Seahawks had like the coolest colors that I liked, and that's how the Seahawks became the team that I rooted for. And it just so happened that they went to the Super Bowl that year and won. And everybody's like, "Oh, you bandwagon." Probably gonna make sure my employees aren't burning down the restaurant. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. They want me to go too. Yeah, but Danny, we're yeah, their colors are slick. And plus, I think Russell Wilson's like a sick quarterback. I think he's one of the top 5 best in the league. His skills are just insane. Really kind of, I have my problems with like Pete Carroll's coaching. I think he makes some like really dumb decisions, but overall, their team, I expected them to be maybe like 6-10 this year, and they really surprised me by going, I think, 10-6. But yeah, back to a little bit ago, Kill or Be Killed is the next short film that we'll be releasing. Not a fan of Pete Carroll. I mean, I don't really know too much about him because I got into football late, but I've heard I've heard from a lot of people that they don't like him, especially like family members. Like apparently he's done some shady stuff in his college days, like college coaching days. So I can't personally say anything about that. But he's the coach of the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are the team I root for. So I kind of want to eat this candy bar, but I also don't want to eat on the live stream. Kill or Be Killed is the short film that we'll be releasing. Hopefully by summer. It's a little bit more geared towards short film festivals, and we actually have like a lot of visual effects in this film, so it's been taking a lot more time to finish than some of our other quicker shorts. So hopefully summer it'll be up, maybe even before that. It's kind of just it'll be out whenever it's done kind of thing. So fingers crossed. All right, Danny, I'll let you get back to your family. I know that you have a lot of stuff to do, and then we can cut this short. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I feel weird. I don't know where to look because I'm kind of looking at myself. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, have a good weekend, man. Just a quick recap for everybody. The Oscars have announced the decision to air all 24 categories. We have won. All right, have a good weekend, everybody. See ya.